Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Jared Sebesta of Taatjes Financial Group, where we build purposeful retirement plans. At Taatjes Financial Group, we believe retirement planning is so much more than just preparing financially. Our goal is to help retirees and pre-retirees steward their time, talent, and treasure. We have the tools and proven process to make sure your retirement plan delivers the greatest purpose, impact, and legacy. If you need help building a purposeful retirement plan specific for your life, give us a call. Our number is 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at our brand new website, taatjesfinancial.com, or you can just stop by our office. We're located right on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer, building purposeful retirement plans. Well, thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a wonderful day here so far. Ben Taatjes joins me on the show, and if you're listening to the show or have been listening to the show for quite some time, you'll notice just a little bit different intro there just a second ago. We're calling this show now Time, Talent, Treasure Radio, kind of getting away from maybe the way that it's been called here the last probably several years now. And we had to kind of regroup, Ren. I think this is kind of a turning point probably for our business, but I think this idea of time, talent, treasure is something we want to double down on because it's just so important. So I think we spent today's show and we just kind of talk about what that means for us, maybe for you personally, Ben, and maybe what that means for the people that we work with.
Yeah, sounds good. I love it. And when you came up with that, kind of the rebrand of the show, I'm like, why wouldn't we do this? This is who we are. This is how we work with our clients. This is what's incredibly important to us. To talk about. It's built right into our logo.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever looked at the Taatjes Financial logo, there's a big tree on the left of the logo. It's also a watermark on every check that we write from our office here. And I do believe that. I believe that we are all given so much, and we are stewards of those big three things. God's given us so much time. He's given us so much talent and so much treasure. And I think, our job is to be good stewards of all three of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's our biggest job, certainly. And again, it comes down to the numbers so many times in this business, but to us, it's so much bigger than that. You mentioned the tree logo. If you go to our website, taatjesfinancial.com, we just launched a brand new website. You'll see our logo front and center and a little explanation as to what that means. And I think that's really interesting. Before I started here, obviously you had the logo before I started here. I didn't even know that that's what it really meant, but that was really at the essence of the whole start of your heart behind this company. And I think that's a really big deal, and I think it's a great story to tell.
Yeah, most people think, well, Taatjes, my name starts with the T's, so that must be why there's three T's in there. Maybe someday I envision there are three Taatjeses, me and my daughters or something. Well, back when we did that logo, I didn't have children. Back when we did that logo, it was before I was even looking that direction. It never was about me. It never was about, it's never about my name. It was entirely about me and how I look at money, how I look at, being a good steward. And when I sat down with the design team that helped us draw that up, I sketched it and I said, let's make a tree. Let's have these three T's. And once the designer kind of ran with it, I was like, I love what this means and what it, because it's more than just a picture of a tree. It's more than, for me, it's a reminder. When we write checks from our business and we send them out, we better be able to answer, right? What are we doing? How am I stewarding both these financial resources, but also my time and my talents?
You've admitted on the show here that most recently, you've done this a lot, but most recently you've gotten in more of a habit of when you meet with clients, you'll ask them point blank, time, talent, treasure. That's who you are. Which one is most important? And you've had some pretty interesting conversations on that.
Yeah, Jared, you would think, doing retirement planning, most people would think if you're going to ask somebody what's most important to them as far as their time, talent, and treasure, they would come back with the treasure. That's the business we're in. There's a financial aspect to everything we do here. And typically we're, running numbers and spreadsheets and retirement plans. I have yet to hear a client that I've asked that question to and I have them rate and rank those three as far as their time, talent, treasure, what's most important. Every single time, treasure's at the bottom. And yet all of our work, and I'm not talking us personally here as an office, but in our financial services industry, we spend all our time talking about the treasure.
Yeah.
And when we look at what really people want and what's most important to them, the most valuable thing is almost always time, right? Because that is, you don't get more of it. And later on in life, people start to recognize that. It's like, man, time is really the most important thing. And then maybe they'll talk about talent and then eventually treasure. Now, don't get me wrong. Treasure is extremely important, and it's a super fun part of my job to help people be good stewards of that, to help them make wise investments, to help them give it away charitably, give it to their children, creating comprehensive financial plans. I love that part of our job. But I think if it starts with this recognition that really God owns it all, we're stewarding, and then comes back with the fact that probably the most important thing, and the thing I should be spending most of my time thinking about, is the time I have with loved ones, the time I get to spend on this earth, because that is the piece that people keep coming back to.
Well, you're also stewarding your time and your talent and your treasure. You're stewarding all three. And so I think that you bring up a good point. It's not that money is not important. What's more important isn't how much we have or whatever. It's how we are stewarding it. And that's the point we keep coming back to.
Yeah, I mean, a great example. I had a question this week, Jared, and I'm going off script here a little bit, but I had one of our clients send me an email. It says, hey, we're in this phase of retirement. It's brand new to us. Income's different. Ben, how do I look at tithing? And that's a question I do get from time to time. And I'm like, now that, they got a response like immediately, because I love that question. And it was something that we were able to look at their specific situation, and I was able to try to help them decipher. One of the things I just reminded them, and that I'll remind our listeners, is tithing is more about what you keep than what you give. And I think that's a really important thing. Now, I love that part of my job. But again, it came back to their desire to follow God's will for their money, okay, the treasure, but they're also in recognition of their stewarding their time and their talent and their treasure.
Yeah. It's kind of full circle. And again, when we are accountable for our life someday, those are the questions we're going to get answered. Not how much money we ended up in the bank with, nothing like that. It's what did we do with the resources that we were given? And it really keeps you in check, whether you're retired or not. That should be kind of the driving force of our life anyway.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this show today and you're thinking, well, I'm not a person of faith, and this sounds kind of faithish to me. We based it. When I originally came up with the time, talent, treasure, it was based on Matthew 25, one of my favorite parables, a parable of the talents. I think that's a great parable, and Jesus loved talking stories. But even if you're not a person of faith, I want you to be listening to this show and thinking, you have something that you are entrusted with. You have only so much of time in the day. You have so much talent of things that you are able to do, and only so much treasure as far as financial resources. Do the most with them, right? Make the biggest, I would say, kingdom impact. You might say the biggest community impact or impact on your loved ones. Right. Either way, our job is to help you live a more fulfilling, impactful retirement. Yeah. And that's why we love this idea of the Time, Talent, Treasure Radio.
We mentioned the brand new website. I encourage you to go check it out, taatjesfinancial.com. Kind of just poke around and learn more about our story and what this means to us. Some new updates as well. We're pushing all of these shows to iTunes. So this show that you're listening right now, you can subscribe on iTunes to Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. And if you're a fan of YouTube, all of these shows are getting uploaded to YouTube every week as well. So we got multiple platforms that you can find us on and check out this content. Ben, we got about 30 seconds left. What's just a little recap? What should people experience when they come and meet with us with this kind of view in the back of our heads?
Well, I think knowing that this is important to us means that we're going to be looking at not just your financial plan, but your life. I think that's important because there's many financial advisors and retirement planners out there. Okay, we want to be the one that people say, they helped me live a better life. They gave me a higher return on my life, not necessarily just a return on my investments. We want them to say, they helped me with my overall life. I was a better person. I was a better steward of what I had after working with them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ben. Well, maybe it's time for you to begin your purposeful retirement plan. If that's the case, give us a call. Our number is 320-222-4236. You can request a meeting online at our brand new website, taatjesfinancial.com. And if you are in the neighborhood, just stop by our office. We're located right on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. Thank you for joining us on this Time, Talent, Treasure radio segment. I'm Jared Sebesta. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.